Hey guys, welcome to a weekly reading vlog, specifically the Do-The-Thing-A-Thon reading vlog. Do-The-Thing-A-Thon is a readathon that Ashleigh from A Frolic Through Fiction has put together where you do the thing, as in your book goals. So my book goals for this week are to finish my May TBR, which I've only got 2 left, but there's only a week, and one of my books is like 600 something pages. So need to get on that. I also just want to generally finish all the books that I have started, which is like 5, maybe only 4. So exciting times. I finished Clara and the Sun over the weekend, in between partying to Eurovision. And so the books that I have started and need to finish are Starvation by Molly Finnig, The Pull of the Stars by Emma Donoghue, The Old Drift by Namwali Sarpel, that's the 600 plus page one, and Colonial South Africa and the Origins of Racial Order, which I started in November last year and still haven't finished. So now seems like as good a time as any to actually try to finish that one. So my bookish goals for the year were to read 100 books in 2021, and I am now at 90 something. So I think if I finish these, I might actually reach my goal of 100 7 months early. I need to update my book list. It says 95, but I know I've read at least 2 books since finishing the 95th one. So that's it. Wish me luck. Hopefully I'll be able to finish all these. Hi guys, happy Tuesday, day 2 of Do-The-Thing-A-Thon. Yesterday I didn't vlog anything because I basically didn't read anything. I did finish The Pull of the Stars by Emma Donoghue. Really enjoyed it. The ending got me good. It's a huge bummer. It's a pandemic and childbirth book, so there's lots of death. But excellently written. Would recommend if you don't mind literally everyone dying horribly. And then instead of, continuing the outstanding books that I want to finish this week, I started a new book. Why? But it's Golden Fool by Robin Hobb, the second in the Tawny Man trilogy, book, 8 in the Realm of the Elderlings mega series. So hopefully today will be more productive. Somehow I don't have high hopes. On today's reading, I continued Golden Fool while I was out running errands, and I'm now about 58% through. The actual plot is pretty slow moving. I think an adventure is about to happen. So hopefully actual things will start happening instead of just Fitz being grumpy, which is what he's been doing for the most of this book. Also got about a third of the way into Starvation. It's as much of a bummer as I thought it was going to be. So good for me for my prediction skills. I am enjoying it though. I am finding it really hard to read. Even though I've never had an eating disorder, I do know people who have or have had eating disorders, and it really wreaks havoc on your mental and physical health. And so I think this book at least does a really good job of portraying how damaging eating disorders are. Because I think a lot of the time people don't understand the depth and causes of eating disorders. So I'm looking forward to getting more into that. I did have to take a break from it because it was very intense, and a huge bummer. So I went back to reading The Old Drift, which I have been neglecting since about February, so I would really like to finish it this week. And so I'm about a third of the way into that now as well. I got to the end of part 1, so exciting. And it's really good. I have noticed though that I have forgotten enough of the details of like the first 2 stories that I'm like, if there are references in the story that I just read back to them, I know I've missed them, but it's possible that the timelines / family lines haven't converged yet. So I'm excited to read more. And I absolutely love the writing style of this. It's perfect. And I love that at the end of each chapter, there's like a little section that sounds like it's been written or is from the perspective of like a chorus of people that are observing stuff and observing history. And I really like that. So I am about to get on the Do-The-Thing-A-Thon sprints for tonight. So hopefully I can make more progress in, I think, both Starvation and The Old Drift. See you later. Hi guys, happy Wednesday, and I have only a small reading update for you. Last night I did sprints with Ashleigh and I read a few chapters of The Old Drift, and it's really good. It's really good at like sinking you into the stories. The chapters themselves are like quite long, and at least right now, because I don't think any of the like family lineages have quite intertwined yet, because I'm only 45% of the way through. It's reading kind of like short stories about individual women living in Zambia, or at least what is now Zambia. Some of them lived at a time before Zambia was officially a thing. And so it's covering a lot of time periods, it's covering a lot of like different women, and I am loving this, and I am like really excited to see like what else happens to them. I'm not sure I can like say what is actually going on with any of them, because again, like they're kind of short story-esque, and I also don't want to spoil anything. And I didn't read any more of Starvation yesterday. Like I said, it's like an intense read, so I'm taking my time with it. And I also read quite a bit of Golden Fool. I'm really enjoying it. Things have finally started to actually happen, because like I know I was saying yesterday, most of it's just like the first half of it is just like Fitz being grumpy and hating children, even though he's like accidentally become the dad to like 15 of them. And he sort of reminds me of like one of the dance numbers in the ballet of the Nutcracker, where there's this woman, but like the part is danced by a man who like has this giant skirt, and the skirt, it just is the home to like 8 children. That's what I'm imagining Fitz is like. He is the Nutcracker woman with all the kids. So I will update you further. And what was the other book that I wanted to read? Oh yeah, it's the nonfiction about the origins of racial order by Timothy Keegan. No, Origins of Racial Order in South Africa. And I've been very much struggling to get back into it because it's like a dense academic text from the 80s. But I mean, it's good, and I will continue with it. I bet like if I do like a time lapse of me reading it, it's just me going. So we'll see.
If you're not careful, spend your whole life climbing fences. And it's not what you paid for. But the right eye sees what the left eye can't. Now it's permanent. It's permanent. Roof tiles and thumbtacks.
So I finished Starvation. It was a lot. A lot of it was pretty dark. There was a lot of obviously eating disorder talk, and there's also a lot of suicide talk, which was like not what I was expecting. I mean, it wasn't like the entire book was just like misery all the time. There are several like hopeful moments and like some funny light moments. So obviously, because I haven't had an eating disorder, I haven't had to go into eating disorder recovery. I don't know if that is done accurately or done well. I would say it feels very lived in. So reading it, I can believe that this could happen the way it does. But what I do really appreciate about this book is sort of its discussions and commentary on how people misunderstand eating disorders. For example, the main character, Wes, is a wrestler, and in the beginning, before he really goes deep into his eating disorder, he's trying to get into a lower weight class. And so his ballet dancer girlfriend, she's starting to get into an eating disorder as well. And he recognizes in her that this is unhealthy and bad, but he thinks, well, if I use some of her disordered eating tactics to lose weight so I can get into a lower weight class as like a temporary thing, that's fine. And his dad sort of sees this and is like, good going, champ. Way to be ambitious with wrestling and be healthy, even though like it's not healthy. And in one of the after chapters, so these chapters alternate being like before eating disorder and after eating disorder. One of the after chapters is he's, like sitting at dinner with his family, really struggling to, like have a normal meal. And his father gets really irritated at him. It's like, why can't you just eat? It's not that hard. And like completely missing the point of how eating disorders work. And, so like the dinner scene comes first in the book, and then later you see him being like, oh, well done for doing these disordered eating practices to get into a lower weight class. So you can just like see him completely mixing the point of like how he's facilitated his son's eating disorder and then is annoyed about it. And another thing I really appreciate is the discussions of like trauma and how trauma, especially in teenagers, can make you feel like there is nothing you can control. And so you're desperate to control something. And in most cases, especially as teenagers, the only thing you can control is your body. And like sometimes it manifests in like eating disorders because you can control what you eat. And so I really appreciated that sort of discussion. And so there's a lot of like trauma that happens in this book that I wasn't expecting. So it was a lot, but I will just read you the last paragraph of this. It's not like a spoiler or anything. Like we know the plot is that like this boy gets an eating disorder and then like goes into recovery for it. This isn't a love story, a fantasy, a fairy tale, but this is my life, and I don't know how my story ends, and maybe that's part of the beauty of it. Maybe I get a happy ending, recover from my eating disorder, even if I will forever have a different relationship with food. Maybe I won't. Maybe many of us don't, many of us don't even get to tell our story. So like it's sort of left ambiguous. Like he's in like a recovery clinic in the last chapters of the book, and it's like left ambiguous whether he's better at the end of it. And I think a lot of like discussions around eating disorders that like don't really get the point, like don't understand that for some people there is no better. It's just management and like harm reduction to like try to, get on with your life. And another thing this book talks about is the expense, or at least the expense in the United States for getting, first of all, any kind of medical help, but especially like eating disorder help, because it's both like considered not a big deal, even though eating disorders kill people. But it's also considered like a silly sort of like vain thing that like only upper middle class girls do, which is also not true. So, I mean, if you want to learn more about eating disorders, Dr. Melissa Fabello has written a book about anorexia and sexuality, whose name I've forgotten, but I will put it in the description below and you can like go look at it by yourself. And you can also listen to the podcast Maintenance Phase. They have an episode specifically about eating disorders in fat people, because another thing that I think a lot of people like don't understand about eating disorders is that most people who have eating disorders, because it's like a psychological problem and a food intake problem, are actually fat, but they aren't seen as people who have eating disorders, because eating disorders is something you need to fix. But because of like societal fat phobia, fat people who have eating disorders are encouraged to either like keep going deeper into their eating disorders or to like get one in the first place. So they have an episode on that. So I will also put that in the description box below. If I think of any more eating disorder books that I've read, I will also link them down below. But I think that's like the only two eating disorder information sources I can think of right now. So I'm going to do some yoga, have a relaxing bath, and I'll see you tomorrow. Hi guys, it's Tuesday, it's June 1st. I did most of the things, but not all of the things. I didn't even pick up the South Africa Origins of Racial Order book. Oops. As you can see, I have changed locale. I am at home with my parents in California. I am currently in quarantine, but I did get my first vaccine dose today. So I finished The Old Drift on the plane over, and then I read Turning Point by Chloe Angel, which was going to be on my June TBR, but now I need to redo that because I've read like 2 books off of what I was gonna do. And then hopefully I will get to my May wrap up soon and my June TBR soon. I'm doing a few buddy reads, so that will be exciting. So I will end this vlog here. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and week. You can follow me for more videos like this video and follow me on social media. Everything will be in the description below, including the review of Starvation that I talked about in this vlog. I will see you next time.